He can't say anything. Oh, hi. We have a huge show today. X here. Darren's here. Len's not here. Jenny's not here. But Sean Hollister's going to be here. It's ridiculous. All right, here we go.
Australians, have you ever wondered what a nickel is? Apparently it's 5 cents. So give it to Tom at patreon.com/acedetect.
This is the Daily Tech News for Friday, January 23rd, 2015. I'm Tom Merritt. Joining me today, Darren Kitchen, founder of hack5.org, who is usually here on the Fridays. Good to have you along, Darren.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Also alongside, Ek from Hockeybuzz is back, particularly because Len Peralta is out, and so we needed an artist. Wait, is that? No, maybe it's the GoPro story about putting cameras on top of hockey players' heads.
Probably more likely.
Yeah. We do have art, though. We have special guest art coming at the end of the show. I don't know. I guess I'm going to make it available on the DTNS site, but we'll figure that out in a little bit. So also Sean Hollister is going to join us in a little bit. Hopefully he'll pop in here and we'll start talking about the HoloLens, which he got to try. But let's start off with the headlines. If you're a Windows insider, Engadget points out the new Windows 10 technical preview is now available. If you're already running Windows Insider versions of Windows 10, you can get it via Windows Update. It gives you Continuum. So if you have a hybrid device, you can do the thing where you pull off the tablet and it goes to the tiled interface. That also gives you the Xbox app. Cortana, though Cortana apparently on the desktop can take down notes and answer questions, but she's still having a little trouble with complex reminders in beta. You know, this is a technical preview. It's not even a beta. You don't get Project Spartan yet. You don't get an Office update yet. Those are coming later. You can get the download, though, if you want the ISO and play around with it in a virtual machine or something at windows.microsoft.com/en-us/windows/preview-download. We'll have the link in the show notes as well.
I should probably point out that if you want to try something that's awesome and not in alpha preview stage, Elementary OS Luna is out, and it's gorgeous. It's based on Ubuntu, but it looks like Mac OS X.
Oh, so that's new today or recently?
No, but I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh, you just being like
Microsoft
that.
fanboys love it when I bring that up.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I can't wait to get the email sent to me about what you just said.
You're welcome, Tom.
9to5Mac has sources that say the battery in the Apple Watch may not last as long as Apple hoped. Yeah, now we can anger the Apple fanboys. If you believe the sources, the watch uses an Apple S1 chip, which is apparently similar to the A5. It runs Ski Hill, a modified iOS with a Retina class color display. And supposedly Apple wanted 3 days of pure standby time, but is only getting between 2 and 3 days of standby time. Sources also say 3,000 watches are out there in the wild being tested around the world, and the watch is on track to ship in March. 3,000 watches. I feel like we should have seen one like caught on somebody's camera by now.
Yeah,
The greatest hunt of all. Man, we must go find one of these.
If it makes the Mac fanboys feel any better, the LG G Watch R only lasts a day and a half.
Oh, it's it's funny. Brian Brushwood in Hacking the System has a Japanese watch that everyone thinks is an Apple Watch, and so they're like, "How did you get one? How did they let you put it in the show?" He's like, "It's not actually." Ek, are you gonna get one? I feel like I remember you saying that.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely. That's why I got an iPhone. Actually, that's why I went back to iPhone. Yeah, so that's I'm gonna get one for sure. And I mean, I've had every one. I had a Samsung Gear Watch. I had the Sony Watch 1 and 2. And I have a Pebble. So, I mean, to me, 3 days, 2 days is fine. I mean, honestly, if you can get through a day, you're good.
When you wear all of those, too.
I know, especially when you get notifications on all of them at the same time.
Just pull up your sleeve.
Yeah.
All 5 of them right there.
Yes. I mean, my thing with watches, I love the idea of not pulling out my phone, but at the same time, there is a rudeness to it that I've mentioned before where, if you look at your watch, like there's still a stigma to that. And if you're with people and you look at your watch, it's way worse than pulling out your phone because they think you just want to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, you done? Because
that's why you got to get Google Glass. I mean, I'm actually just reading Tom Clancy right now.
Yeah, there you go.
TechCrunch reports Microsoft has acquired open source analytics company Revolution Analytics, which focuses on the R programming language for statistical computing. In marketing speak, that means Microsoft wants to, quote, use the power of R and data science to unlock big data insights with advanced analytics. So, like data mining. Or if you want simple, like real super simple terms, kind of really powerful spreadsheets that help find trends to help drug makers and scientists discover things.
Are you just trying to make data scientists weep by equating it to spreadsheets?
Now data science fanboys are going to write me directly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
So
Who else we can upset in the headlines?
we've equally upset everybody. The Verge reports Uber has applied for a taxi license in New Delhi and resumed operations. Uber was banned a month ago after a driver was accused of raping a passenger. Uber will only allow drivers who have re-verified their police clearance within the last 6 weeks. They're also conducting background checks on all drivers, old and new, and implementing vehicle documentation reviews. Recode reports Box.com's IPO got off to a healthy start. The online storage company priced 12.5 million shares at $14 each, and then opened the day of trading at $20.20, closed at $23.23. Box raised $175 million in the offering, which valued the company at $1.7 billion. So we got another successful tech IPO there. Ars Technica reports that Raphael Perker, a drone operator who was fined $10,000 by the FAA for illegally operating a drone commercially and flying it in a reckless manner, has settled his lawsuit with the government. Perker has agreed to pay $1,100 and dropped the lawsuit challenging his citation. He had claimed the FAA was forcing a non-existent law against drone operations. The FAA ban on small drone flights for commercial applications is still in effect. Perker used a drone while shooting a commercial for the University of Virginia. Hadn't been a commercial, he wouldn't have gotten in trouble, but that's what clinched it for him. Darren, I know you've been digging into this.
I've been all over this since the get-go, and the model aircraft, the hobbyist community has been pretty much divided 50-50, whether Perker or Trappy, as he's known within the community, is either a devil that's bringing on all sorts of regulations, or a saint for standing up to the man and all of that stuff. And now that there's a settlement, it's only been a day, but the gist amongst the forums seems to be like, dude, you settled? Like, really?
So the people who thought he was the devil are just like, you're even more the devil now. And then the people on his side are turning?
Upset now. Everyone's upset because, if this was at least going to go to court, and it did, and the NTSB, even threw it out, and then it got appealed. NTSB held that the only thing that applied as far as civil aviation was CFR 9113A, which is, quote, careless or reckless operation that endangers the life or property of another. But even then, the FAA conceded that its 2007 policies weren't mandatory. What's interesting about this is that it doesn't constitute as an admission of any sort of regulation violations, and that whether this was a reckless incident wasn't even decided. Team Black Sheep, who sells a lot of drone gear to FPV enthusiasts and other quadcopter aficionados, is basically, it feels like they're trying to save face. They make a very big point in the settlement document about how the case spurred a dialogue that has led to good things within the community, and also that it's very much reinforced that resolving this matter was solely to avoid the expense of litigation, and that nothing has been decided because of this, and so that it's not going to set a precedence. But even with that, it feels like it's setting a precedence.
Well, the one thing I read from Perker's side was that because of new FAA regulations that have been adopted or are about to be adopted since 2011 when this started, any decision they would have, even if they won, might not be applicable anyway, because it would apply to laws that existed in 2011, not laws that exist today.
Ultimately, they're just no good laws, because when I fly a 3-gram, 45mm quadcopter in my backyard, I don't think that's violating the national airspace.
You're a reckless, reckless man, Darren Kitchen.
Yeah, I know. This could end up in a bird feeder.
You could choke on that. It's kind of small. You could go into your mouth. All right, according to a story by the New York Times, the Winklevoss twins, you know them as the two guys from the Social Network movie, but these are the real Winklevoss twins, are looking to take the Bitcoin virtual currency mainstream by creating the first regulated Bitcoin exchange for U.S. customers, a sort of NASDAQ of Bitcoin. The brothers have begun hiring engineers from hedge funds and engaged a bank and regulators, hoping to open their exchange in the next few months. And because they're twins, the exchange will be named Gemini.
Oh, Lord.
Or Gemini, depending on how you pronounce it. Time for some news from you. This first one comes from Captain Kipper. He sent us the Ars Technica article that Google's Project Zero has struck again. publishing 3 zero-day vulnerabilities in OS 10. If you don't remember, Project Zero finds vulnerabilities, alerts software manufacturers, gives them 90 days to deal with them, and then after the 90-day clock is over, they make the vulnerabilities public. It's one of those responsible disclosure plans. These 3 were reported to Apple on October 20th, 21st, and 23rd, 2014. One of the issues that was reported may have been mitigated in OS 10 Yosemite, and all 3 appear to require prior access to the machines by an attacker before they can be used. The program recently published 3 vulnerabilities in Windows. So this just proves that Project Zero isn't targeting Microsoft. They're after everybody.
I want to reinforce the fact that I feel like responsible disclosure is a good thing. However, this Project Zero thing, no matter how cool it is, it just seems like it might be a little bit of a conflict of interest in that it's hosted by Google, who, one, it's a little bit more difficult to do security auditing on their stuff because all of their stuff is in the back-end server. I mean, you can do web app stuff, but otherwise, 2, I don't think we're going to see a Project Zero disclosure about a vulnerability in a Google Apps service.
What about in Chrome OS or Android? Is Project Zero banging away on those? And if a sister team hit the 90-day mark, would Project Zero make it public to everybody?
I feel like that would show a lot of good faith as far as them, eating their own dog food. Or maybe there are a bunch of submissions and they're already just, squashing them before the 90-day notice.
Well, yeah. If I'm Google, I'm making sure I squash any Project Zero bugs before 90 days for sure. I don't want to be embarrassed by that. But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. But a lot of people are like, you should never make these vulnerabilities public, and that's the wrong way. I think that's an extreme wrong way. I do think Project Zero, if anything, is guilty of being mechanical, and Microsoft complained about this. Apple hasn't said anything. You don't expect Apple to ever say anything about stuff like this, but Microsoft was like, we were about to issue a patch the next day. Like, could you just have waited 1 day? Come on, be reasonable. Project Zero is like, no, these are the rules. You got 90 days. We're just going to follow them. So TM204 pointed out the Skift article about Expedia acquiring Travelocity for $280 million. Ooh, I feel like it's 1996 again. Expedia gets the websites in US and Canada. A Swiss-based BravoFly has an agreement to acquire Travelocity Europe, aka lastminute.com, pending regulatory approval. I remember I stopped using Expedia when I found out it was a Microsoft division. And of course, Microsoft got rid of it in 1999. But I've been Travelocity loyal ever since.
That's funny. I'm the other way around.
You're an Expedia person?
Ever since discovering Hipmunk, I just go with whatever's cheap.
Yeah, I've actually been using Booking.com some. Ek, what do you do for your travel?
I'm an Orbitz guy myself. I like Orbitz. Yeah? Yeah, I Travelocity on occasion, but I don't know why. Orbitz always works better for me. When we travel, we do a lot of last-minute traveling with hockey where we have to go to a game here or there. And Orbitz has always come through, so...
Yeah, and I know a lot of Orbitz folks.
It's a fantastic space that market is, and that there's so much competition.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, all of the ones you guys have named are good. I wouldn't go like, what? Why are you using that? Like, they all have their advantages. So
I wish we could just say the same thing about bandwidth. Man.
Oh, yeah, seriously. Hits close to home, doesn't it? And that is a look at the headlines. All right. So Sean Hollister has popped in while we were discussing the headlines. He is at Gizmodo. What's your title at Gizmodo these days?
I'm currently the reviews editor. Hello.
Reviews editor.
Sean Hollister.
Yeah, we've had Sean on the show before. You folks might remember. Sean got to try HoloLens, the wraparound augmented reality glasses that Microsoft introduced on Wednesday. If you haven't heard, they project images. Tell me if I have this right, Sean. They project images on a see-through lens so that when you look through it, they appear to exist in real space.
Yes, that's right. You can see things all around you that don't actually exist in the real world as if they were there, objects created out of light and things like that. I don't know exactly how they work quite yet, but definitely transparent.
Well, when they trooped you all in to show them to you, they made all the journalists leave their cameras and phones behind, so no pics. How do we know it happened?
You'll just have to trust me.
And I loved your article in Gizmodo, by the way, because you were one of the few people who had taken the time to observe the 4 cameras, a laser, and what looked like ultrasonic rangefinders, because this thing was not the slick version that we saw on stage, right?
Oh, no. Let me break it down for you. There is a giant processor box maybe this big around, that you have to wrap around your neck. It's actually hanging from your neck by a big fabric strap. And then they mount the headset on you, which isn't this nice little ring around your headset, but actually a pair of big lenses in front of your eyes with a big heat sink up here, metal heat sink, and all this gadgetry attached to it. And it's kind of front heavy. It's kind of weird and very, very prototypey. It's nothing like a finished product.
And still tethered, right? This is not.
Still tethered.
It's supposed to be wireless eventually, and the one they showed on stage was wireless. Now, that was odd to me, as you said that they do have working models that look more like the one we saw on stage, but that's not the one they let you guys try.
They told us that the same demos we saw would be running on the nice little wireless versions in just a matter of time, that they would like have that ready for, you know, public consumption in a week or something like that, ready for internal consumption, I should say, in a week or something like that. But that wasn't what we got to see. We got to see lots of fabric, lots of exposed circuitry everywhere. It was, it's something where I believe that this technology exists. I saw it. I mean, it's real. It's amazing. But how do they take it from this and put it in that tiny form factor? I'm not sure yet.
Did you notice that, were there in the room that you were in a bunch of like QR codes all over the walls or anything like that? Was there like special fabrics, kind of like if you've ever played with Cast AR, certain fabrics that have to reflect backlight?
Right. So traditionally, a lot of these technologies, they either need to have a camera out there in the room that watches you to tell where you are in the room and which way you're facing, or they have to have markers on the walls, and that's what you're talking about. They have to orient themselves somehow. Microsoft claimed there weren't any markers. I didn't see any obvious QR codes, but that doesn't mean they weren't there. They could have faked that portion of the process. It's very possible, because I've seen augmented reality technologies that can look at a picture that has embedded markers in there that you can't see with your naked eye. It's such a thing. They could have done it. It could have been partially smoke and mirrors.
Have you had a chance to play with Cast AR by chance?
I have. I've definitely. I sat down with Jerry Ellsworth and sat down with Cast AR and put that on my head. I'm not sure if the audience knows what Cast AR is, but in that case, you're firing projectors that are mounted on your head. You've actually got little video projectors on your head that bounce off of a reflective surface back into your eyes again. And that's pretty wonderful too, but this is way more than that. I mean, you don't have to have a surface out there. It just seemingly replaces the walls around you with things like the surface of Mars. So I can see Mars all around me, but I can also see the carpet underneath my feet. And I can see the carpet, you know, kind of blend into the surface of Mars. So I'm here in this room. I'm definitely here in this room. But at the same time, I'm walking on the surface of Mars.
So it sounds like it was pretty convincing that the field of view was good, that that objects stayed stable when you moved your head?
Well, hold on a second. It is excellent at keeping orientation, for sure. If I looked around and something was in a certain spot, I looked around, the same thing was there again. If there's a rock on the surface of Mars, or a table covered with, you know, a toy castle in Minecraft made of all these tiny little Minecraft building blocks, it would always be exactly where I thought it would be. But I had to turn my head all over the place because the field of view is tiny. It's like this little, somebody's described it as a 16 by 9 TV floating maybe 7 to 8 feet out in front of you. So you're looking through this little narrow slice of a window, about this big around in my view, trying to see Mars this much at a time. Mm-hmm. And wherever you look, you're like, oh, that's exactly where I thought it would be. But it's tunnel vision. It's like you're looking through a pair of binoculars or something like that. You can't see a wide field of view like the Oculus Rift. There isn't a virtual world all around you. Mm-hmm. It's there, but it's invisible to the naked eye. It's like holding up your phone. You can hold up your phone with an augmented reality application and see a little slice of something through it. This wasn't that much bigger than that.
So you would say it wasn't immersive?
Oh gosh, this is tough. Immersion is such a tricky thing to wrap your head around. The idea that you're there. I always felt like I was in the room, but that's the point. I'm supposed to feel like I'm still in this room, like I'm not out of my natural situation, like I'm not going to trip over things, like I'm not going to bang into the walls if I walk around. I know the boundaries of the room because I can see it around me. But that room could be anywhere. That room could be underwater. That room could be on the surface of Mars. That room
the objects you were
made
looking
of Lego
at
blocks.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, did you play the Minecraft demo?
I did.
And so did it feel like those blocks were in the room?
It definitely, when I was looking at them, it felt like they were in the room in front of me. I mean, in my peripheral vision, I can see that there's nothing there.
Okay.
But I look over here, I turn to look straight at it, you see a castle made of Lego blocks on a table. You see a bench covered with little Minecraft zombies, and there's little TNT blocks around them, and you plant down a torch near them to light the TNT blocks on fire, make them explode, and the zombies fall through the table, the actual table, and you look in the table, and there's a hole now where
So
they
when you
explode.
smash the table, were you afraid of actually smashing the table? I mean,
No. You don't get to pick up anything. This is the
okay.
biggest
It's all virtual
limitation.
objects.
Right.
The
Is this a
biggest
one-
limitation.
Is this
Go
a
ahead.
one-on-one experience, or are other people able to see what you're seeing, sort of play with the same toy the same way at the same time? You know, that's what I was wondering about.
I would assume that they figured out a way that if a couple people had the same headset on, they could both see the same objects in the same virtual position, because they demonstrated on stage. We saw someone with HoloLens on stage looking at, an environment where they could build a quadcopter just by picking out little pieces and making these 3D models. They grabbed, here's a dome for the quadcopter, here's a propeller, let's stick the propeller on there, and they were building this quadcopter. At the same time, there was a cameraman showing us what it looks like through this person's eyes, with the objects in the exact orientation that they would be to her as she's looking at them. So obviously they know how to show those 3D objects from another person's perspective. Otherwise they couldn't have shown them to us from the cameraman's perspective as they did. So we were a passive observer in a different spot than she was, looking at the same objects. Clearly they know how to do this. But all of our experiences were one-on-one. All of my personal experiences when I tried out the Minecraft, I was the only person in the room who could see exactly where the objects were. But when you get in there, the HoloLens, it has all these cameras on it, and it maps out the whole room. It knows where the tables are, it knows where the desks are, it knows where the walls are, what is and what isn't there in terms of real-world objects, and then it maps these other things on top of them, or behind them, as the case might be. I walked over to the wall, and there was a picture frame there, and I used a little shovel, and I didn't get to pick up a shovel. This is a limitation. I didn't get to pick up a shovel, but I used a Minecraft shovel. I said, "Here, I want a shovel right here." I reached out and did an air tap, which is the gesture that you use to do anything. Right now, it's like you got a mouse cursor. You turn your head, and whatever you're looking at, that's where your mouse pointer is, and then you do this gesture like this. You tap your finger down in front of your face. That's called an air tap, and that's like your left click on a mouse. That's the limit of your interaction right now. So I had this little Minecraft shovel, and I said, I want to click right here on the wall, and it chopped right through the wall, and behind the wall there was a cave. Behind the wall, behind the real-life wall I was looking at, there was a cave filled with blocks, filled with veins of ore and things like that. It was wonderful. But the interaction's weird. I wanted to be able to pick up an actual shovel and just shove it into the wall, and I couldn't do that. It's a mouse cursor.
You were talking about quadcopters. I actually fly quadcopters with like first-person view goggles, and I've always noticed how immersive it is and how quickly, and very similar to the way Oculus Rift works, how quickly your body or your mind just accepts that, okay, this is an extension of my world. This is, and especially considering you're flying in the real world, you just accept I am a bird now. And your body may even start to sway when you bank the craft and such. So I wonder, and also similar to, when Jerry brought her Cast AR by the studio and we got to try that as well, where it's like you instantly just like, wow, this is the new reality. Were you did it kind of hack your brain in that same sort of way where you just instantly believe? And two, when it was taken away, did you have that moment of like, no, reality will never be the same again, bring it back, like I did after trying Cast AR?
It definitely feels like a layer on top of reality, an extra invisible world that you didn't know was there. And I believed that whenever I put the glasses on again, I would see the exact same world because I knew it was there waiting for me. But by the same token, it's not all around you. It's not so totally immersive that you are somewhere else. The Oculus
Ken from
Rift
Chicago
always
wanted to
feels like
know.
somewhere else.
Ken from Chicago in the chat room wanted to know, when you look at your feet when you're doing the Mars thing, did you see your feet on Mars or did you see Mars over your feet?
I can't actually remember is the honest answer. I know I looked down and I saw carpet. I believe when I looked all the way down, if I'm recalling correctly, I saw carpet with my feet on it. And then when I looked up the slightest bit, that brown carpet, which obviously Microsoft had staged to be a nice reddish brown so it would blend nicely with Mars, turned into the surface of Mars. But
Nice.
it's not like I couldn't see my feet in my peripheral vision. When I looked straight down, I think it was my feet on carpet, is what I think I saw.
That's a great question because anybody who's used Oculus knows that there's that weird feeling of when you're wearing Oculus Rift and someone walks in front and talks to you and you're like, is there a ghost in the room? You just
Oh,
completely
God,
lose
yeah.
your mind.
Oh
You know?
God, yeah, and I've done the quadcopter thing too. You held up a pair of Fat Shark glasses,
Yes.
which you can use. You can get this view from your quadcopter flying up in the air, and I fly it around behind myself. You've probably done this. You fly around the
Totally.
quadcopter
You do
behind
the
yourself.
third-person shooter thing. You try
And
to
you have
walk your
this-
body.
Yeah, you have this ghostly out-of-body experience, and for a second you're like, I am not me, Sean Hollister, standing on the ground. I am the quadcopter. I am the bird in the air, looking down at some person who looks vaguely familiar.
Right, my
And
friends will
this
ask me,
is-
"Where are you?" And I'm like, "Which me?"
This is not quite like that. You are not the quadcopter. You're still yourself. You are yourself, and you're not quite somewhere else. You're still here, but there's that invisible world lurking just through this set of lenses that will be there if you go back. And that was really something. And then the other thing. Go ahead.
Have you got any? I'm sorry to interrupt, but have you got any sense of the patents that Microsoft has on this? Because the second I saw this being done, I'm thinking to myself, man, Google and Apple, how are we going to do this? What kind of? Did you get any sense of that proprietary aspect of it?
I haven't looked into it yet, and they didn't want to talk much about how it works or intellectual property or anything. They said they'd been working on it for 6 years.
Okay.
And deep in this, in the basement of the Microsoft Visitor Center, apparently they've been working on this there, right under everybody's noses. But I didn't get any sense of exactly what kind of patents they've got on it yet. The
I did
interesting
read
thing,
recently. I'm sorry, Sean. Just real quickly, I did read
Yeah,
recently
please.
that a lot of patents related to this kind of work have expired recently, which could ease things up for Microsoft a little. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, it could be interesting if all those patents from the virtual reality era have started to expire, or even beyond that, from early, let's build computing UIs have expired. But what is interesting is that Magic Leap is filing for patents that do things a lot like this. And Magic Leap is the company trying to build something very similar to this, the company that Google just invested a lot in. They came out with this crazy idea of mixing virtual reality and augmented reality in your real world, such that you'll reach out and there's a little baby elephant cupped in your hands and things like that. This is exactly what I expected that to look like, and it's pretty amazing though. We're seeing this, and it's really this impressive, and that there are two companies working on this idea with very promising investors.
Well, by all accounts, everyone said the same thing as you, as far as it being kind of a prototypey feel. But
Yeah.
everybody loved what they saw so far. So nobody really knows where this is going to end up. This is Microsoft. They've shown off impressive demonstrations before that have ended up going nowhere. And they've showed some that have ended up becoming some of their best products. So if you had to guess, Sean, would you say HoloLens is going to be more like the Kinect, the Microsoft Surface, kind of be like, or the Courier, it just never makes it to market?
Oh boy. I don't think it'll be like Courier. I think it'll be more like Kinect, in that this is something they are going to produce. I don't know who they produce it for or in what quantities. The most compelling demo in terms of real-world applications was one that every company who builds an augmented reality headset says is a valid market, and that is, you have somebody helping you out remotely, looking through your eyes, helping you complete a task because you are not trained to do the task. In my case, I installed a light switch. I'd installed light switches before, but in this case, there's a person on Skype talking to me remotely. He can see through my eyes. He knows exactly what I see. I look down at the table. There's a screwdriver. There's a voltage tester. There's a wire nut, that I need to put this light switch into the socket and hook it up without electrocuting myself. And I was able to do that because he could draw little circles around things and draw diagrams. And here in the air right in front of you are little green lines that show you exactly how you're supposed to do this thing. Every time I've met with a company with a pair of glasses, they say this is what people want. This is how it's going to sell. And maybe it starts that way. Maybe Microsoft gives this to the military, to businesses, to folks who are repairing things out in the field to make sure they're doing a good job. Or maybe it's something where they can do it for consumers, but it seems like the low-hanging fruit is the remote assistance and repair applications. I think that's where it starts.
You know, one of the things that I just think is really cool about all of these, and what makes it such an exciting time in tech to be a geek, is that when we look at things in the UI space like Oculus Rift with the development kits, and Google Glass with the Explore editions, and even things like Cast AR with the crowdfunding, it seems like there's a little bit of a change in that we don't have to wait for final products to come out and be like, boom, 1.0, it's been behind the scenes for years, and we finally perfected it enough to put it in a shiny box for you. Comes out in ways where we can just, like, I don't know, really just get our technolust on.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing if this comes out in developer kit form that's readily accessible. But the other thing is, it almost doesn't need to be this particular Microsoft built device is the gist I'm getting. I ran up to Satya Nadella right after the keynote. I ran right up to him and I asked him this question. I said, is this going to be something that anybody can develop for, or is it going to be a closed ecosystem like Xbox, a curated ecosystem where, Microsoft will decide what you should be able to see on there, but it's really high quality stuff maybe. And he was like, no. Not only is this is open, but not only this is open, this is just built right into Windows 10. These holographic APIs. And he told me that he expects other people to be building holographic displays for this technology. That HoloLens is just going to be one of them. That maybe other companies who are thinking of building glasses or goggles of some sort, they're going to build them on Windows 10 now, and they're going to be HoloLenses. And if Microsoft is in a position to help them along on the hardware side as well as the software side, maybe this becomes a thing that just becomes a new wave of computers, not just this one, but maybe this is what computers look like 10 years from now. I don't know.
It's the first new technology to be birthed in the Nadella way of we'll build a flagship, but we'll really rely on the service being open and sell through that way as well. Having the API built into every version of Windows 10 is kind of unusual. That's a really interesting approach. Sean, thank you so much for spending time talking with us about your experiences. I really appreciate it.
You bet. It's glad to be here.
Gizmodo.com, Gizmodo.com. If you don't know how to spell Gizmodo, most of you know how to spell Gizmodo, but go check it out. Hands-on, Microsoft HoloLens hands-on from Sean is there, and of course he does all kinds of great stuff. Anything else to let folks know about before we let you go?
Nothing I can think of at the moment. I'm hoping to do a deep dive into how HoloLens works at some point, as soon as I can get the engineers to talk to me.
All right. Well, good luck. I hope they talk to you.
Take care.
All right, cheers. All right, Ek. We always love having Ek on the show, but particularly today, we wanted to have you on because it's one of those rare moments where Hockeybuzz and technology cross so nicely together. The GoPro Hero 4 VizLink deal, you've heard me mention it before, where GoPro said, hey, we're going to have this deal with VizLink where we can broadcast live from GoPros, but they wouldn't tell us what. Well, now we know one of the things. GoPro signed a deal with the NHL and the NHL Players Association. They had a relationship, but now they're an official partner, and they're going to live stream from the players' heads starting this weekend during national and regional broadcast. Well, actually, it's going to be a national and regional broadcast, but starting this weekend during the All-Star Skills Competition, which is Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and the All-Star Game on Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern. There's going to be people playing hockey, official hockey. I know it's an all-star game with cameras stuck to them.
Yeah, and it is interesting they're doing it as an all-star game because this is an all-star game in the NHL is no different than an all-star game in any other sport. It really is meaningless. It's actually more meaningless because there's not even a home field advantage at stake or anything like that. So in a lot of ways, the fans are kind of the diehard fans are like, oh, why do we even have all-star games? So yeah, they're going to let it happen in this game, and I think with some referees in actual games, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But it's an amazing thing for the NHL to do, and it sort of goes back. People have to realize the NHL has never had the giant TV contract that other people have, that the NBA and Major League Baseball have. So they've really tried to be on top of things like this as sort of their way of getting around that. They want to be on top of things technologically in any way. NHL.com was one of the first really good sports websites, and now MLB and the others have caught up for sure. But this is something the NHL really takes a lot of pride into, and they don't just look at this like a small little thing. They really do see themselves as a futurist in this way.
So no, the players aren't going to be wearing these in games that count.
I don't think so. Not for a while. I mean, you know what? You might see like the backup goalie sitting on the bench with one of these on, because there are some actual teams that actually let the backup goalie do color commentating during games sometimes.
Yeah, I've heard about
he's
that.
not doing much, so I could see that. I could see it on an assistant coach's head for sure. But the players themselves, I talked to a few of them, and they're excited about it. But at the same time, you know, their first vision is like, oh, when we were in the Olympics opening ceremony, everybody had the GoPro cams on their heads. So that's, or when you go to a ski slope, you see everybody with GoPro.
Yeah.
So they're a little bit nervous about that, but they get it. I mean, and I think it's a smart move for the NHL. I mean, I don't know if you watched the Winter Classic, but some of the camera angles they were phenomenal. I mean, the NHL really. It was a sport that originally, before HDTV, was not a great watchable sport on TV, as we remember. You know, you could go live and it was great, but people just didn't want to watch it on television because it was hard to follow the little puck, and that's the glow pucks of the Fox 80s and 90s. But now with HDTV, it's a great thing, right? So this is just another level of that, and yeah, I'm always proud when the NHL does something like this.
You bring up the glow puck.
Yeah.
And this is just from my anecdotal experience from Canadian friends, but they seem to hate that kind of innovation. They just want the pure, raw, unadulterated hockey. Do you think this is something that's actually going to backfire and kind of upset fans?
It has that potential for sure, because hockey, like all other sports or anything in general, has its purists, you know. But yeah, there's that. I mean, I didn't dislike the glow puck so much, but it really has become like the source of jokes. You're right. I mean, over years, but at the time it was, I thought to myself, oh, this is on Fox, one of the first nationally televised things in America, not in Canada. And yeah, the glow puck worked okay. It was fine, but
I am one of those guys who was like, I watched the St. Louis Blues when Bernie Federko was playing on a 15-inch Zenith with no glow puck. It was fine. I didn't need. But I tell you what, man, hockey is really pretty on HD. You're
it's totally different. I mean, I actually used to try to get Channel 9 and 11 out of New York to try watching hockey on a fuzzy black and white TV. That was even great. There was no way of seeing the puck. You just had to see the play. You could see the players if you were lucky. So yeah, I agree. Hockey has benefited more from HDTV than any other sport, in my opinion.
Now, I'd like to see a little GoPro action on the puck, actually.
I know.
Maybe a little dizzy, but
And then apparently, unofficially at the X Games, Colton Moore was racing with the GoPro transmitter during the Speed and Style snowmobile competition last night on ESPN. So this is creeping out. People are there's a little DIY movement of this, as well as the official GoPro movement as well. So,
and this isn't the terrible quality Wi-Fi one, right?
I don't know which one Colton Moore was using.
Yeah, it doesn't better, Darren. Yeah. I agree with you on that because I'm one of these guys. I tape my daughter's soccer games, and I've used GoPros for years. I have like a big giant retractable pole into a base behind each goal, shooting down with GoPros, and I've tried to stream them, with the old Wi-Fi, and it was pointless. So yeah, I think this is better than that. I hope it is for sure. But there are a lot of fans. It's a smart choice. For the NHL.
Yeah, I agree. It's a cool choice for GoPro too, because from the other side, they're getting into a wider sport than some of the sports that they've been associated with in the past as well. So that's cool.
Oh yeah,
their marketing guys are on top of it.
Yeah. Yep. All right, our pick of the day and a couple of messages, and then we're out of here. Pick of the day comes from Christian Cantrell. He said, to go with Tom's previous coffee pick of the day, I submit to you the Slick Froth 2.0 electric milk frother and cappuccino maker. You may think, oh, come on, Tom, this is a tech show. This is a pretty tech froth maker. Christian says, I've been making lattes, cappuccinos, and other milky coffee drinks for about 15 years now, and I go through phases where I can't be bothered to steam the milk. Now when I'm in a slump, I just use the Slick Froth. Horrible name, good device. With a cup of microwaved milk, and I have well-aerated frothy milk in seconds. It's far easier than using a steam wand, and it only takes a few seconds to clean.
All right, Tom, I got a quick life hack here for everybody who wants to do this. Whenever we vacation in Florida, what you do is you get yourself one of those baby mixers that looks like a bottle but has like a thing that goes up and down in it. And if you put hot milk in that and you get one of those baby mixers, you have frothy milk in no time.
No kidding. Wow. Clever life hack. I like that. So thank you, Christian, and send your picks to us, folks. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. You can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. Matt Marr in Sterling, Virginia, wrote in response to whether Google is capable of offering decent customer service as a possible MVNO cell phone operator. We talked about that with Shannon yesterday. He reflected a lot of people. We had several people wrote in and said, I have had very good experience with Google regarding this or that. Matt says, my general rule is fantastic support for anything they do where you pay them money directly. This includes Google Apps, the Play Store, Nexus devices, etc. In those instances, I've had some of the best customer service I've ever experienced in the tech world. It's only in Google services like Gmail and Calendar where Google had non-existent customer service. So I have no doubt that a Google MVNO would have superb customer service. So there you go. We have, he's not the only one who said that.
Yeah, I'll plus one that.
And then Peter Frazier wonders if Google as an MVNO would lead to free data on Chromebooks. Follow his line of thinking. He says, I wonder how much data browsing is after subtracting away audio and video streaming. If they took Chrome OS in a direction where the onboard storage was beefed up and Google Music was a lot smarter about caching your most played songs when on Wi-Fi, throwing an option to only use video on Wi-Fi. Now that we're starting to see download video from YouTube, you could expand the caching of some of your watch later as well. Put more development time into that aspect of YouTube, make it a lot more seamless. They also have a low bandwidth option on phones. What if they brought that to Chrome OS? I'm thinking if this was on their plan of attack for the last year, they could provide an all-you-can-eat data plan for a large portion, if not all of our day-to-day browsing when you buy a Chromebook. If they get the bits down enough and adjust the advertising strategy on this class of Chromebook, it could, in theory, be viable.
I would hope that something like that would happen, kind of similar to the Kindle, in that it would be fun to then root and put a ch-rooted Ubuntu environment on top of it, and then take advantage of it. But yes, I can totally see how if they're if they're making the OS and all of that, they can totally make that technically feasibly work, and even push more Chromebooks. Do it, Google.
Yeah, Chromebook with a free data plan.
I'm all over it.
That's pretty compelling. All right. Finally, we actually have a message from our producer, Jenny Josephson. She's off today. Roger Chang's actually filling in, helping out, producing the show. And she had a message to us. I'm going to try to show what she's talking about on the video version, but apologies if I don't. That's why we need to get to a real video level. But here's the message from Jenny, because first of all, 1 year ago today, we started our Daily Tech News Show Patreon, and there's another anniversary there.
Hey, Tom. Hey, Ek. Hey, Darren. Hey, Sean. Hey, chat room. Hey, listeners. Hey, watchers. It's Jenny. So I woke up this morning and LinkedIn told me, and all really nice people on LinkedIn were congratulating me because apparently, according to LinkedIn, it's my 1 year anniversary with DTNS, or at least the day I decided I was going to put that I worked there on my LinkedIn. So because Len is out this week doing a marathon draw, I thought I would draw for you a picture about what it feels like to have spent a year at DTNS. And for those of you who can see it, sort of self-explanatory. For those of you who can't, it's a picture of me dressed as Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, marveling to herself that the only thing she has to do is follow the Daily Tech Road. We've got Glinda over in the lower right-hand corner asking, are you a white hat or a black hat? And then, of course, as in the end, the yellow brick road leads to the Electronic City. So go check it out if you have a sec. I'm sure it will be online somewhere. And I'm really glad that I got to work here. This has been an unbelievable year. I've learned so much. Hopefully I've helped a little. I'm super excited to do more this year, and I hope y'all have a good weekend. Bye.
Thank you, Jenny. Who is she kidding? She's helped a lot. What do you guys think of the artwork, too?
I can't wait to put it on the refrigerator.
We'll have to see if we can get that up in the dailytechnewsshow.com store, but we can definitely put up a link. So go to dailytechnewsshow.com and look for it in the show notes. If you don't see it right away after the show posts, I'll get it up there soon enough. So hang in there. But thanks for doing that, Jenny. Above and beyond, right? Len's gone today. Len kind of challenged her to fill in, and then she's gone today, but she still filled in. So that's awesome.
Well, congrats to both you guys. I mean, my gosh, 1 year, that's great.
Yeah. Thank you to all of our patrons. We are still plugging away, trying to get as close as we can, a little closer every day to the goal of being able to bring on Scott Johnson and Veronica Belmont as regular contributors. So we appreciate that support. DailyTechNewsShow.com/support for that. Meanwhile, thank you to my guests, Ek, Hockeybuzz.com, of course, the place to follow you, and you've got some other projects going on as well.
Oh yes. I'm constantly working on my backyard rink right now, and it's been a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm working on a still to be determined title of a little tech blog that I'm doing, but I'm having fun with it. Cool.
And of course, hack5.org, hak5.org. Darren, what can people expect to find there this week?
At hack5.org, you can find getting SSH tunneling on your Android phone without using root, some Android sketches. Mubix has got some tips on using Metasploit. HackTip is going over Wireshark. TechThing has answers to a bunch of awesome viewer questions. We're doing Crazy Men in the Middle stuff from Pineapple University, and way more things coming.
Go. If you haven't gone yet, hak5.org. There's too many good things there. And we're done. Thanks for letting us have a supersized Friday show. Don't forget, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com to vote on the stories. Email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. Our phone number is 512-59-DAILY. We're live 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on alphageekradio.com. And our website is dailytechnewsshow.com. We'll be back on Monday with Veronica Belmont. Talk to you then.
This podcast is part of the Frog Pants Studios Network. For more information about this and other shows, visit frogpants.com. Audio program so good, it's like you're there.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Boom. That was great, you guys.
It was a good show. Thank you so much for having me part of it.
Yeah, no, Ek, thank you for joining us. That was cool.
I think that Hollow thing is mind-boggling. I'm so excited about it.
It's got so much potential, doesn't it?
Gosh. It's like you sit around as technology people, we sit around waiting for the future sometimes. You know what I mean? You feel like you're sitting waiting for the future to come. This feels like the future has come and hit us.
You know who lives in the future is Darren, sitting there flying his drone in front of his face.
It looks like a Google effect, doesn't it? It looks like a Google Hangout effect of a drone.
Where'd you get the Hangout effect? I bought a drone.
Right, it's a real drone, but it looks like a drone effect when it's in a little tiny thing.
This is the drone I'm taking to Sebastian in Germany. I figure he'll like this.
Oh, because it's American flag. I just got it. Thank you for your help today, Roger.
Yes. Sorry, I was trying to figure out your spreadsheet formula for how much money you need left.
Oh, I just like the number of patrons. That's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I crammed that all the way at the right because I was.
Oh, you just overwrite that. What's there in the 48B? You could just write over that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't.
I know that $ makes it look like it's an actual spreadsheet formula, but it's not. It's just notes.
All right. Yeah, I was like, oh no! I was like, oh, I broke it. I broke your formula here too.
No.
You guys would like this thing I popped into YouTube. This is actually me resurfacing my rink at 2 a.m. in the morning. I don't know how you can pop that up in a different way, but it's I have a hockey rink that I built. It's like a 40-foot by 20-foot deck I built by myself in the backyard, and then it's elevated 4 feet in the air. And in order to do it, I have to go out and constantly resurface it with water to make it survive the 32-degree days we have here because we don't have that cold of weather. So I went out and I had a little camera out there, and strangely enough, I didn't realize that it has night vision on the camera, so it makes me look like a complete alien as I resurface.
You're like an alien Walter White resurfacing your hockey rink.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, it's the funniest thing. So I put the theme of the X-Files behind it. It was just a funny. I just had it because I had like a little headlight thing on my head, and I'm walking around, and it's literally 2 in the morning, and it was awesome.
At some point, you just need a little voice going, aliens!
It's the scariest looking video. Oh my gosh.
That was a jam-packed show.
Yeah, it really was. And as usual, that is my unprepared self, so...
What?
So I'm going to stop preparing. Anyway, I'm always getting on myself if I feel like I'm underprepared. And then it's fine. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Don't prepare.
All right. Yeah. Well, I am gonna go 3D print monster molds, so I will.
Oh, cool. That sounds
check
fun.
you later.
All right. Thanks again, Darren.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm gonna take off too. I appreciate it, Tom. Thanks again so much.
All right. Take care.
Talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, Zach. Bye.
Nuts. What did I do?
And then it was us, Roger.
Hey, what did I just do? Nothing. I didn't do anything. Monkey chunk.
Oh, we need to pick a show title too.
Yeah, I'm still kind of a little unclear where you get those.
Showbot.tv is where they show up. People in the chat room can use the bang S command to send them to Showbot, and then people can vote on them there.
Wait, send them from the chat room?
Hollow World. Oh, that's so good. Holographic Carpets of Mars. Yes, OS 10. You too. That's so venomous, Tinvec. All your travel or belong to us.
Hollow Tunnel. Unprecedented commercial workers.
Winkle Coin. I want a shovel right here. That was actually pretty funny when he said that. That's a great. I might go with that. Hollow World. That's pretty damn good. I'm going with.
Hollow.
Oh yeah, we could go Filipino. Have a little dessert-oriented, little Tagalog in the title. A little holla. Hollow at your boy. Go that way with it. I went to a hockey game, and an East Meets West broke out. Yeah, so Ken from Chicago says, spontaneous East Meets West, question mark. Any time that Roger and I are talking, it is essentially the show, because that's all the show is.
Us talking. Jiminy Crickets.
Yes.
It's a phrase I use to avoid swearing. Oh, I might have to be in the hospital next week.
That sounds horrible, but is it just because of the baby?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not so bad then. It's for a good reason. That's fine. Whatever. Are you enjoying I should ask you when you're off there so you don't have to feel like you.
Oh, like, do I enjoy doing this?
Yeah.
No, it's fine. I'll be honest, it's like when I start working, it's just like I'm working, so there really isn't a sense of like one way or another. It just feels like it's something I should be doing.
Yeah. I've given you purpose in life finally.
Yes, sort of. I am. So for the discussion stories, I'm just sticking in the links and nothing else.
For the main discussion.
Yeah, I'm just looking at. I'm kind of copying. Jenny's
Just follow what Jenny has there. You don't.
She has like
that's pretty
discussion
much all you
links,
need.
but she doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Gotcha.
Pick of the day.
Boo to whoever gave 2 new projects to Tinvec. It's 423.
So where do you know where these people come from? Oh wait, that's
people?
just a. I see.
That's their chat room name. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I just realized what that thing was just a link to the product.
Ah, I see.
Electric. So we're doing the electric cappuccino.
That's a big show. This is almost 50 minutes of show.
It's a lot of show.
It's a lot of show. That's more show than you bargained for.
Shazbot.
Shazbot. That's a Mork and Mindy reference. I got that.
It's a Mork reference.
Well, particularly within Mork and Mindy, it's a Mork reference, correct?
Do. I don't wanna go.
Boy, the export's taking a long time today because it's such a long show.
So fat. It's like a big dump.
It's disgusting.
Data dump, dude. Not everything is like a biological function.
If you gave 5 cents to help this show, you're getting a lot for your 5 cents today. That's all I'm saying. If you gave nothing to help this show, you're getting a lot for your nothing today.
You have lots of guilt.
Nah,
guilt.
you don't have to have guilt. No guilt. Guilt-free zone.
This is
I understand.
This isn't a non-dairy creamer ad.
I know what it's like to be debating whether you should buy the American cheese.
You know, American cheese really gets unfairly picked on. It's fine. People assume it's real American. People think of Kraft singles when they think of American cheese.
That's exactly what I was talking about when I said it too. Yeah,
but
you're right. That's not
there is
necessary.
actually an American cheese that's a form of cheddar that isn't. I mean, just because
like the
Kraft.
singles.
I mean, Kraft. Everyone grew up with Kraft singles in the U.S.
The Kraft singles could have been Swiss. In fact, there was a Swiss cheese version of Kraft.
I know
singles.
that's the one I got because I didn't like orange cheese. It's like, why is this cheese orange?
You didn't like orange cheese?
I always thought it was weird. I mean, I ate it. It wasn't until junior high that someone kind of was like, dude, you realize the cheese orange is, the cheese is orange. It's like, yeah. Like, isn't it like they draw it that way in cartoons and, the little signs where you get the cheese? And like, no, that's not the color of cheese.
Must be the cheese.
That's what everyone says to me. It's like, why is American cheese yellow? Or not yellow, orange? It's like
It was all yellow.
And then I retort back, say, why does your cheese have mold in it and then it smells like gym socks? And then you put it on.
That's what makes it good, that smell of gym socks, Roger. That's how you know it's working. I'm going to put the tags on SoundCloud in reverse order today. I hope that doesn't throw anyone off. News tech, not tech news.
So what goes after the pick of the day?
Just the messages, the emails.
Got it.
Pick of the day is brought to you by you.
Take out
because everything is. Yeah, my wife does not like bland white cheeses.
I don't think people shouldn't like bland cheese in general. Although I do like low-fat cheese.
But see, I like Swiss. I like Jarlsberg.
Swiss is a pretty low-fat cheese. It's not. I mean, compared to other cheeses, not a very.
And it's very affordable. I mean, I
Swiss
like
are
sharp cheddar too. It's not that I'm avoiding flavorful cheeses, but I can also appreciate the subtler flavor of a Jarlsberg.
I mean, if you told someone how cheese was originally made, I'm not sure if they would eat it. But
a lot of people would not. You're right.
Hey, I'm just going to take this animal's, lactating fluid and shove it in its stomach.
All right.
Sorry. Let ferment. Although it's interesting, the Mongolians have like a version that's almost like sour cream cheese.
Yeah.
Because it's not fully fermented in the same way like European cheeses are. Probably because they're always moving. The nomadic people that they are. Unless you're in Inner Mongolia. Is it Inner or Outer Mongolia? No, it's Inner Mongolia where they've been forced to live in the housing complexes. No longer free to roam. Or is it the Outer? Oh,
I was watching Marco Polo and they were roaming all over the place.
I was watching something about Marco Polo as him being a mere figment of fiction, not a real person.
Well, I'm watching the Netflix fictional story, so he totally is fiction there.
Fiction. And noodles did not come from China, or pasta did not make its way from China, supposedly.
No, it made it from somewhere else.
Egypt,
really?
Yeah, there was a form of pasta.
I thought it was somewhere east of Italy, but not.
It is, but it's
that
east
far.
and south.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It is
around the Mesopotamia.
Right, so
she does that. She does that.
It's the play-by-play of Roger making the show notes.
Tomorrow's guest.
That would be Monday's guest because it's Friday, and it's Veronica Belmont, which is also something in the rundown that needs to be filled in as well. All the little things.
Right, so that goes... I see. Plug tomorrow's guest. Do I overwrite that one, or do I just add to it?
Yeah, just add to it.
I'm going to do it even though it has no benefit at this point for practice.
Yeah. God, I hate it when WordPress does this. It scares the crap out of me.
Uh-oh.
It says, are you sure you want to do this? And then you click try again, and then it shows you like a version that doesn't have any of your changes, but it gives you a restore backup, and then you restore the backup and all your changes are there. It's just a little WordPress bug.
And so I'll wait till you're done and then paste this in.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm almost done. That's when we end the video, when I'm out of the post. I just need to check and make sure I did it right. I haven't screwed it up in a while, so I'm due. All right.
Dirty Jobs broke out. I love Dirty Jobs. And then he redid the show for CNN. Or Odd Jobs, I should say.
Okay. I am out of the post. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.